Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be telling you guys about my horrible and extremely long wrist injury. So it all started around December of my senior year in high school. And now it's currently December of my junior year of college, so this has been going on for 3 years. I basically wanted to tell you guys about this because today is Sunday night, and on Monday at 7 a.m. I'm getting wrist surgery done. So basically the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me for so long, and I went to occupational therapy, I went to an orthopedic surgeon, I went to a hand specialist, I went to physical therapy. Alright, so what happened? How did this start? So, senior year of high school, I was basically doing a lot of wrist activities. I was in dance, of course. I wasn't doing competition senior year, but I was still taking like almost all of the classes that I normally took. I was in color guard. That was something new, but that's like extremely wrist heavy. You're just catching and throwing flags with your hands. And then I was also playing the violin still. Boop, boop. Basically, I was just doing a lot of things with my wrists, which I guess stressed them out, and I originally hurt my left wrist when I would do things like handstands and stuff, or I would just like put weight on it. It was irritated, and so my genius idea, I have such a big brain, guys, such a big brain. I was like, it's fine, I'll just do everything with my right wrist. No, that's such a good idea. Wrong. Because then I stressed out my right wrist, and now I had two wrists that were stressed out, and at that point, this was around December, I could no longer put weight on either of my hands because they hurt so bad. Ugh! Do you know how hard that is? I had to completely relearn how to do life. How to, you push open a door with your hands, you fall with your hands, you get up by putting weight on your hands. My wrist continued to worsen, and it started to affect my dancing. After December, I decided to quit color guard, so I wasn't doing that anymore. I ended up going to the doctor about it because they weren't improving, and they gave me all these braces that I could wear, some to wear when they were really acting up so that I had complete restriction of my wrist, and then they also had ones that I could wear when I was doing activities such as dance or playing my violin. And in occupational therapy, my wrist didn't really improve that much. They didn't really know what was wrong, so they had me doing like heat and ice. One guy thought that I had scarring, so he basically took like a metal spoon and scraped it against my hand. I had bruises for like a whole week, but I was like, anything to make my wrists do better, and I was so naive at that point. I thought this was just gonna go away. So I was like, it's fine, I'm okay. Then they did not improve, but it was the end of the school year, and so we packed up everything and we moved cross country to Virginia. I had to stop going to therapy at that point, and I just decided to quit doing everything. For the 3 or 4 months of summer, I didn't play the violin, I didn't dance, I didn't do like barely anything, except that didn't help. Around October, I think, of my freshman year in college, I started to form ganglion cysts. So ganglion cysts, I'll insert a picture right here, but they can be really painful if they grow large, but when they're small, like they were just like really freaky because I have this like growth that's on my wrist that I've never seen before. So I went back to the doctor, and they sent me to an orthopedic surgeon. So that's basically a bone doctor, and I had to drive like an hour and a half to get to this guy. And I'm kind of skeptical because, I've already been through therapy and it didn't really work. And so I get there, and the guy is so nice, and he had so many ideas. He was like, I think that like we can totally fix your wrists, no problem. So I was super excited after leaving there. I had custom made braces just for my wrist, and he told me to leave them on for a month. I was like, okay, I can do this. It's a month, that's a long time, but It's fine, I'll do it. So I wore the braces for a month every day, and the only time I took them off was like in the shower. Oh, and there's this one really funny story. I was at a frat house and we were trying to get inside, and I was like, they're not gonna let me in with these ugly braces on my hands. It's awful. And so I impressed them with my amazing robot skills and they let us in. So but unfortunately, after a month, I went back to the surgeon and I was like, sir, my wrists are not getting any better. If anything, they hurt more now. How can this be possible? And to which he replied, you just have more flexible wrists than normal, so they're more prone to injury. And I would abstain from doing things like putting pressure on your hands. Mind you, I haven't done that in a year. And then maybe they will improve. Also, this is all because you had ganglion cysts the entire time, which is not true. So after that experience, I was extremely discouraged. I was like, wow, I had so much hope. And then he crushed it and he was basically like, you're never gonna heal. I love when doctors say that. That makes me filled with so much happiness. So then I kind of gave up for a while, right? And then around December again, the following year, I was like, there has to be a reason, right? So I went back to the doctor and they sent me to a hand specialist, which is also another, in the opposite direction, an hour away. So I went to this hand specialist and the hand specialist was like, I am not gonna give up on you, okay? We're gonna get your wrists better. So he put me in braces for 13 weeks. And honestly, they did improve, okay? My wrists got better. They stopped hurting all the time. I also had tingling in my fingers and I did some exercise for that. And so I improved. Well, then we got to a point where they were feeling better. They weren't aching all the time, but I still couldn't bear weight on my hands. So he gave me cortisone shots in both my wrists and decided to send me to physical therapy where I would, increase my range of motion. So I went to physical therapy and it went great. I love my physical therapist. She is hands down amazing. And they discovered that not only did I have just incredibly stiff wrists that had lost all of their flexibility, like I couldn't even like put my hand past here. Now I can do back here, so I've improved a lot. I also had something called thoracic outlet syndrome, which was why my hands were going numb all the time. So basically, my left collarbone is raised higher than my right collarbone because of bad posture from college, and all the muscles in my left side are super tight and they're pulling my collarbone higher than it should be, which was constricting the blood flow into my arms. And so my hands were going numb. So they helped me with my thoracic outlet syndrome and my hands no longer go numb. Woo woo. And then they helped me with my wrists and now I can bear weight on my hands. They're not 100%, of course, but they have improved significantly. At least my left wrist has. My right wrist, on the other hand, she's not doing so well. And that is why I'm getting surgery in a day and a half. So, yeah, that's happening. And this is why, because you remember back in the beginning where I said I had that ganglion cyst? Well, they went away, and then they came back, and then they went away again, and then they came back again, and now it hasn't gone away. The ganglion cyst is just fluid that's like built up, and now it's kind of hardened into like a jelly-like mass, and it's causing me severe pain. So we're getting it surgically removed, and It's not that I'm freaking out, it's just that I've never had surgery before, so I'm freaking out. But it's gonna be okay because once this is done with, hopefully, fingers crossed, y'all, I will be done with my wrist injuries that have lasted me 3 years, and I'll be officially able to do things with my hands. This is probably going to be part 1, and part 2 is going to be me getting out of my anesthesia. So look out for part 2, but I am excited to take you guys with me. So yeah. What do I do? Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna work, but I want you guys to see my like good wrist versus my bad one that I'm getting surgery on, right? Okay, you see them, but do you see how I have this like growth? That's what I'm getting removed. So I have like an extra bone, except it's not a bone, and it needs to go. And so you see, like when I put my wrist like this, it's right where it should be, and I can't even move it past here because it hurts so bad. So imagine trying to put weight on your hand with this big old thing in the way. It's not happening. That actually, ow, that hurts. What I was just doing, I was pushing it too hard. It's fine, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go now.